All right, so the squad building has began. Central Report wants a more dominant playing. He wants to base his midfield off of PSG, off of Neves, hmm, hmm, off of Vitinha, hmm, off of Ruiz, off of Zaire Emery. Highly elite technical operators that can get about. And I'm here for it. Now, listen, you might laugh because you think, well, you started with Edison. You carry on laughing because there's also talks and reports that they want to evolve Kobbie Mainoo's role for him to play further forward. It looks like we're negotiating with West Ham at this moment in time for Mateus Fernandes. We'll see about that. There's talks about getting Carlos Baleba slash Tonali slash Elliot Anderson. But is that possible? Should Man United be looking to try and get a more dominant midfield? And is it possible? I can't believe I'm saying this, but you get my drift. Is it possible to recreate the Magnificent Three at PSG? Magnificent Four, really. Is that possible or is it laughable? Let me know what you lot are saying. I'm taking it in context. And yes, it means vastly improving our central midfield era. But let me know what you guys are saying in the comments. Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome to the Transfer View. We're live. Me and Owen back together. We've got good energy. We've got good vibes. Big up to all of you guys in the chat. If I'm super charged up today and speaking at 100 miles per hour, okay, it's because I'm back running. I say back running. I've started running for the first time in many, many years. Of course, we are on the health journey. We're going to talk about this very, very shortly in more detail. However, I know Owen's just waiting, but I'm just letting you guys know.
I wanted to press the button. I wanted to press the button.
My runs. I've done one yesterday. Done one today. So my endorphins are up. Over to you, Owen.
I mean, I thought you were going to do the segue yourself. I thought this is where you're going. I thought this is perfect. I don't need to do it this morning. I thought Flex is going to. You're so charged up that you're going to do the segue. Would you like to? Would you like to do the segue this morning?
No, you do it. It's fine.
All right, roll VT.
Yeah.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends Oxford Natural and their all new improved Optimum Day and Night. I've been using it and feeling the effects, Dr. Andre, but how does this even work?
Well, it controls energy, it helps with weight control and sugar control.
And there's day and there's night. What does the night do?
Well, the night means you get a deep, restful sleep. It contains magnesium to help you relax, but at the same time, it's still controlling sugar all night.
Now, it's not a magic pill, but it is gonna help you with your health goals, isn't it, Andre?
Changing metabolism takes time. 90 days, so take the 90-day Optimum Challenge.
So what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code on screen to get up to 70% off your first order using code UnitedView. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work indeed. You can scan that QR code right there, Fleck. There to subscribe and save up to 7% off your first order of Optimum Day. There you go. You dropped it. You know?
Yeah, no, because I had the night in the hand.
Would you like both? You can have both if you want. Any which way you please. Get them individually or combined, any which way you please. You can get them in bundles, no problem. But if you want to differentiate, Optimum Day, which is good for your weight loss goals, helps curb your cravings. Which Flex has got in his hands right now, or your Optimum Night, which is good for your restorative sleep, keeps your metabolism firing while you rest. And just like Flex then, you can have them individually or combined, any which way you please. Scan the QR code, find out more, go to the landing page, get optimized today. Also, click the link in the video description below. There are so many options, Flex, unlike midfielders, Flex, because that means that there are options out there, but the right options, you know. And Michael Carrick, he's got a bit of a plan. He's put a bit of a plan together. And whether or not this plan can be achieved, whether it even is achievable, whether it's impossible, we shall see. But he's got a plan, and that plan seemingly is to replicate what is working right now. And what is working? Paris Saint-Germain's midfield. That is what's working. Now, an interesting report here from Samuel Luckhurst saying that Manchester United are planning to build a dynamic PSG-style midfield under Michael Carrick next season. modelled. Oh, look, I've got a little me. Give myself a high five on my head. A dynamic PSG style midfield under Michael Carrick next season, modelled on the Champions League winning trio of Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves. Oof. I mean, they're going to be one to watch this summer anyway when it comes to the World Cup, aren't they? But to achieve this, the club have already agreed this £35 million deal to sign Ederson from Atalanta, which, according to this new plan, will allow Kobbie Mainoo to push further forward, attack spaces behind defences more often, evolving his role into a more rounded attacking midfielder while still contributing defensively. Carrick wants a more dominant style in his first full season in charge, bit of evolution, Fleck, moving away from the sometimes makeshift approach of last term. With Casemiro departing, United are also looking to sign at least one more midfielder as they reshape the engine room. But again, it kind of to summarise here, we're looking to maybe build upon what PSG have done in our own way. Michael Carrick wants a more dominant playing style, maybe akin to what he was doing, I suppose, at Middlesbrough. He had all of those stats, didn't he, about most percentage possession in the league and most shots and all this kind of stuff, right? And Kobbie Mainoo's role could be tweaked. What do you make of all of that, Flex? Is that just is it just logic, in the sense that, well, PSG are the Champions League holders, they've won it back to back. Of course, you would want to replicate their midfield, right? That's who is achieving the most right now. Or is it a case of, no, this does actually align with Carrick's philosophy in the sense of, well, we saw that kind of playing style at Middlesbrough, maybe a bit of a peak at it towards the end of the season with that game against Brighton as well. Is this the next stage of what Carrick hopes to evolve?
Evolution. How many times have I spoken about the naysayers on Carrick, who are people who are dead against him and stuff like that, where there's loads of opinions about him? And I brought forward the notion of everybody's putting this ceiling on Carrick, like there isn't this vision to basically improve. There isn't this vision to grow. There isn't this vision to build upon what he's already done in the 6 months he's been there. And I do think it's disingenuous because people are basically, or some of the arguments I've seen used against Michael Carrick is that basically this is the ceiling. Oh, boring football. Oh, you just about got by and it's only one game a week. So like he's going to struggle because there's no more layers to what he wants to do. 4-4-2 off the ball, sit back and, hope that the good players do something. That really simplistic or minimalistic way of looking or trying to downplay with the impact of what Michael Carrick had. And at the same time, whilst I do agree that it was very much back to basics, it was very much 4-4-2, get a couple of wingers in there, put the right players in the right position, mid-block, we're not going to try and change too much. It was very basic, it was simple. And most of all, it was effective. But I still believe that, also I don't believe that Michael Carrick and his coaching team and everybody involved at the club there will be like, right, so that is it. We're fixed. You don't need to evolve. You don't need to change. You don't need to try and get better. You don't need to try and dominate games more, have more possession, impose yourself more on the team, attack more, score more goals, concede less. We're just fine. I never bought into that. It's just lazy analysis because you don't like Carrick. So when I see this, yeah, people will laugh at the start of the headline of like, look how stupid they are. So now they think they're going to be PSG. Honestly, this guy's going to be sat by Christmas and there they are talking about they want a midfield like PSG's. So you have to take the headline out of it and apply context. And, basically what it's saying, like you said, Owen, it is a natural progression. Yes, we want to get better. We want to be dominant on the ball. And listen, if you're going to talk about benchmark of midfields, if you're going to look at something to aspire to work towards, that's not a bad start, is it? It's not a bad start looking at the best team in Europe, the back-to-back European champions. We all admire what they're doing and saying, wow, like that's the levels there. Now, there's many ways to construct a midfield. There's many ways to build a midfield. Are we in for players that are as highly technical and as good as the ones that we're trying to aspire to be? Well, no, Ederson is not as good as Vitinha. He's not as good as Neves.
Yeah.
He's not Raw and Zaire Emery. Okay, we get that. Mateus Fernandes at this moment in time is not Vitinha, is not Neves, is not Ruiz, etc., etc. However, the thought process behind someone like Fernandes, if we do get him, is that he can be that in the future. That's how you have to think. When Vitinha was at Wolves not getting a kick, nobody could see that he was going to be this. Then he went back to Portugal and he started to thrive. Ruiz is a bit of a He's a bit of a weird central midfielder where if we took him out of PSG, well, would somebody say go and spend big on Fabian Ruiz to bring him to the club? You'd probably say no.
Yeah, he's probably the one, like you alluded to there, that maybe you can take out, and it's like, whoa, you're always going to miss a player of his quality, but you're not going to miss him as much, because we've seen that with PSG this season, haven't we? He was injured towards the end of the season, and like I said, that was Zaire Emery was and he might be the heir apparent, right, of who's going to be replacing Fabian Ruiz possibly. So, no, I agree with what you're saying there. I think it's the same way the headline will probably get the reaction of like Man United want to win the Premier League in 2028, because on the surface you go, impossible, like it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we're rubbish. And then you sort of go, well, I suppose you do have to aspire to something, right? You have to set targets. Yeah, you do have to set targets, and it would be entirely logical to look at PSG and go, yeah, we want to try and replicate that, because I think most clubs across Europe would probably look at that, depending on what a manager and coach's philosophy is. There might be some coach that looks at that and goes, well, I wouldn't even try and replicate that because that's not me. I can't do that kind of thing. And Michael Carrick this coming season will have the same task that a lot of, good coaches before him will have, which is he had to, I think, and this is why I don't really understand the criticism of playing style and what have you over the last season, because it's like, I think you have to go in, when you go mid-season in January and the aim is get Champions League football, philosophy be damned. If it's just about getting results, you're going to have to, adapt, and you're going to have to go, right, okay, ideally I do this, but I can't. I've got 2 midfielders at the club. I've got all my centre-backs are injured. I'm going to have to adapt. Now he's got to do the same thing that people like Erik ten Hag suffered with, right, I've adapted. Now here's my idea. And he couldn't get his idea across, or his idea wouldn't work.
Exactly.
And time will tell whether Michael Carrick will succeed in where maybe Erik ten Hag and others have failed. So I don't really see too much in, like you said, in the headline of, well, he wants to replicate PSG's midfield, because I think everyone would. If anything, it's just one of those headlines, isn't it? That will probably get people's attention, because it's like, well, yeah, until you get Vitinha, until you get, João Neves, that's not going to happen. Well, I don't think we probably are going to get them. But as I said a minute ago, I think you have to aspire, don't you? You have to go, right, we need to find Vitinha in the same way that PSG found him and looked at him at Wolves and went, well, there's still something there. We can do something. You know what I mean? And we need to do the same thing. And that might be with some players that get criticised for Manchester United purchasing them this summer. Oh, they're not going to work. Well, who'd have looked at Vitinha at Wolves and gone, he's going to be the best midfielder in the world, possibly, in a couple of years' time? You'd be like, fuck off.
Everyone, literally that. Yeah. You know what I mean? People would just literally laugh and say, oh, look at PSG again, getting some castaway. And, a couple of years ago, he was this and he wasn't that. It's going to be the usual PSG. They always bottle it. They're not going to, they piss it in Liga and, stroll to it. But Champions League, they're not ready. We always know this. And it's about the coach and it's about the environment. I saw somebody say, and I don't necessarily agree with it, it was an interesting point. He was talking about, there's a guy on social media, on Instagram, he'd done a reel saying that basically he doesn't believe that the PSG team is as good individually as people say. He's saying that there's only basically I think he said there's 3 players in that team that you can take out of the team and put in other teams and they would still be the top dons. And I think he said it was Kvaratskhelia, which is fair because he's already done it in Napoli. It was was it Dembele? I think it was Dembele and maybe a defender. It might have been Mendes or Pacho. So there was only 3 players, right? But he's basically saying the system is what makes these guys if you took Vitinha out and put him in Man City, would he run the game like he does? Or if you took João Neves out and put him in Arsenal, he was trying to make that. If you took Barcola out, if you took Doué just by himself, and he was making that sort of thing. And listen, I thought he went a bit too far of saying only 3, but I get is what he was trying to look at. And you talk about systems, you talk about how players can look way better than they are in certain things. I don't think that necessarily applies to PSG because I think even individually they all are fantastic. But it's Luis Enrique is the thing that brings it all together, and the playing style is what really, really drives it. But back to us, it's you do have to look at, well, how do you want to play versus the individual talent that you're getting, and that individual talent might not be where it is gonna be in the next couple of years, but you can spot the things of what you're looking for now to play a certain way. And that could be like what Ederson brings, for example. People look at Ederson and go, Atalanta, record from there is just rubbish. We bought Hoyland from there, mate. Just got pants pulled down and not just said by.
He's good now, Flex. He's been called up to the World Cup. Now
so
he's good.
Been called up, but now he's not that good because he was on the first reserves. So if he was that good, he'd have been in the first. You know what I mean? So
Flex, how good can he be if we're signing Casemiro's replacement, but Casemiro benches him for his national team? Makes you think. Matt Letizia picture makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. It makes makes you think. Makes you think. No, like I said, I don't really actually see too much in it. I think it's just natural to try and replicate the best midfield in Europe, and that style of play is clearly working at the moment. So why wouldn't you try and replicate it? Also, as well, if it aligns with how you do genuinely want to play. As I said earlier on, I do think way too much was made of that style of football that we saw from January to June. That's how Michael Carrick sees football. That's how exactly how he wants to play. I think it's typical Man United fandom in the sense of, what does Ruben Amorim get criticised for? Stubbornness. Don't change. What does Michael Carrick get criticised for? Adapting to what he has, and it's like, So that's, I think, part of the expectation. I think even from people that have supported Carrick this season would be into next season of, well, you can't play that style every week because if you do, you're going to get criticised. And the hope and the expectation is to evolve in the same way that, Mikel Arteta's just won the Premier League, and for 6 months, maybe longer, he was playing 3 at the back, wing backs, because you got to make do of what you got. And even he struggled to get results at that point, and you never know. And even at points this season, there have been shouts from some Arsenal fans to sack him before they even won the Prem. So the pressure is inevitable, isn't it? The pressure is inevitable. It's going to get people's attention when you say, let's copy the best midfield in Europe when we don't have a midfield at the moment. So it's like, there's so much room to go there.
Yeah, because it's like because the gap between what you have now compared to what you're trying to get is massive. But we only have one midfielder right now. So what
like
do you
when
mean
we finish 15th, Flex, when we finish 15th and you go Project 2028, we're going to win the league in like 3 years.
You laugh.
You go, well, bollocks, bullshit, So, but then at the same time, you do have to be like, well, you got to have a target. You can't just give up,
Exactly. And then when you get to it and you haven't done it, you assess why you haven't done it, how far away you are from doing it, and have you fucked it up where you're even further away from even completing it than you started, and all these types of things. And also we have to remember, this is Samuel Luckhurst's opinion piece. I don't know. It's quite strong for an opinion piece. It sounds like maybe someone has spoken to him of some sort. But even if it isn't just an opinion and it is from within, I would just use the terms loosely, like the evolution of teams and the evolution of players. Like, it doesn't just happen in one transfer window. It happens over multiple, and it doesn't just happen in one season. Even when we get to the end of next season, hopefully with Carrick still there and us going in the right direction because everything's gone in the right way, even that, then there should be another layer to the evolution in Carrick's second full season, etc., etc. And then, like you said, it's when players try to change, not players, the coaches, like you say, with Eric. And then when Ollie tried to take the plunge to change, we've fallen short. So you got to do it. You can't skip steps, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. It was mentioned in the chat there as well. I remember watching early on when Enrique was at PSG, when they played Newcastle in the Champions League and they went to St. James's Park and they got battered. They got absolutely battered. And even in the return fixture, they played them away. Was it the year, whenever it was, with the handball thing? And Newcastle didn't play bad that day. Yeah, Newcastle didn't play bad that day. And the criticism of PSG at that time was still too soft. Look, they're trying to play. Enrique's trying to do total football again, a bit like he did with Spain, where you're trying to pass the ball in the back of the net. No, it's going to work. And then you get Kvaratskhelia, and then Bele starts to kind of click, and suddenly the midfield starts gelling together. And so, like, you're totally right there. It takes steps, and for all of the adulation that's going to Luis Enrique now, justifiably so, back-to-back Champions Leagues. Even a couple of years ago, early on at PSG, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't, let's not pretend from day dot when the decision was made to remove the superstars and we're going with French talent and, home-based talent, blah, 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 that initially there were teething issues, because there will be for every team. When you're going to make a big change and you're going to go in a completely different direction, there are going to be teething issues. There are going to be moments when the pressure's on, and it's about riding that and still getting the results. Interestingly, in this Flex as well, what did you make of the little tidbit about the Kobbie part of it? This bit's
interesting. We should talk about
highlighted, where it says that by signing Edison from Atalanta, it's going to allow Kobbie to push further forward and attack spaces behind defenses more often, evolving his role into a more rounded attacking midfielder while still contributing defensively. Is that just a load of football waffle, or is that
no, not necessarily
proper what it's going to be for him moving forward?
I mean, we won't know until we get to pre-season and have a proper look at people's roles. But just taking it from what Samuel Luckhurst is alluding to, and again, to make that claim is quite bold, because if it gets to the new season and Kobbie's playing exactly the same position and nothing's changed, you go, well, Samuel Luckhurst was just talking shit. And listen, he might have got it completely wrong. This could be opinion. I don't know. But let's just discuss that as not a matter of fact, but as an idea, an ideology, right? That's what we'd want to see, right? You want to see that. I want to see Kobbie, start to evolve. I want to see Kobbie start to be on the ball even more, making things tick more so in the final third, getting shots off. We've seen Kobbie Mainoo further up the pitch, and we've seen him be quite devastating at times. We've seen him have, a good few finishes into the far corner. You look at the goal against Wolves where he announced himself. He's capable of that. You look at the goal against Liverpool on the back foot when he gets the ball, I think, off Wan-Bissaka, half turn, whips it, top bins. You look at the goal, I know it was against a poor opposition, but I think the goal against Newport in the FA Cup, good first-time strike, I remember that. You look at the goal against Lyon, touch outside to the boot, shift, bang, bottom corner. There was a goal against FCSB, I want to say. Did he score against them?
Yeah, when he was a false 9 or something.
Yeah, or that sort of thing. You know what I mean? But so he can do what we've seen. What my point is that we've seen that he can do some damage in that final third. And actually, we don't see it enough, because obviously the role that he's been playing is very much in front of the back four. Go get the ball, keep things ticking. And obviously now with Bruno playing more advanced, let's give the ball to Bruno. And obviously Bruno does amazing things. But with the right balance, which, Casemiro left on an island is not the right balance. With the right balance, hence what he's talking about, Luckhurst, is the notion is you can leave Ederson a little bit, because he is excellent at getting across the ground. He is very fit, very physical, and he is decent on the ball. It would hopefully give a little bit of license to Kobbie. So that's what you want to see. I want to see evolution. If we get Matheus Fernandes, he's the same. He can cover a lot of ground. So that would give probably Kobbie license. Maybe we are looking at something different where Kobbie Mainoo is going to play a little bit further forward, or, start in the pivot, but he has got license. So I like it. I'm not taking it as gospel. I'm not taking it as, right, Kobbie's the new 10. We don't know. Could we see a situation where we start seeing 2 8s? What could we start seeing a left 8 in Bruno, or a floater, a right 8 in Kobbie, and like a defensive midfielder in
more of a 4-3-3.
Ederson? Yeah, more of an actual 4-3-3. Yeah, will we see an actual flat 3? Will we see, like you say, if you look at PSG's midfield, that's what it is. They don't have a 10. They might take it in turns to go and join in. Sometimes I see Neves fucking in the box doing a madness. Then I see Vitinha in there. So yeah, I think that's what true evolution is: having options and rotation. And if that means Kobbie should have those demands placed upon him. We forget he still has not had a full season. Now, mad that is. It feels like Kobbie Mainoo's been around for ages, but this is only going to be his 3rd season, isn't it? Is this his 3rd?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. First one was Eric, and then second. Coming into his 4th. Yeah.
Is this coming to his 4th? So he broke through. Okay, so he broke through
in Ten Hag's second season,
and then went to the Euros final.
Yeah.
Then
came back, and then he came back after the Euros, and that was Eric into Ruben. So there was that season, and then there was last season, which was Ruben.
Which was Ruben's first full season, but in his first full season, he got sacked. Right, okay, so he's going into his 4th season. So he's going into his 4th year, and he still hasn't had one whole year of playing in his career.
Well, and also there's been a lot of discussion, hasn't there, about what he is, right? He's been moved around a lot in terms of position for a midfielder. Exactly. He's been moved around into a 10, into a false 9, into a whatever, and in and out of the team. So you're right. I think there is still a lot of looking at him. Now he's got the contract situation sorted out as well. He's locked in. Now's the time to really, I would say, start delivering, because I don't want to put that level of pressure on too much, but evolving. He has had injury troubles as well, so you want to see him try and shake those off, particularly with a bigger season coming up with a more intense schedule. Can he handle that? That will be a big thing for him this season coming up as well. And that's also the thing when you go to the PSG comparison of, that's the luxury that is quite specific to them, isn't it? Is you saw it this season of there are some PSG players that are playing like equal amounts of Champions League games and Ligue 1 games. You know what I mean? It's like they've got 2 squads. One plays Liga football, basically. One plays Champions League football. We obviously won't have that luxury at Manchester United in the Premier League because you just can't take your foot off the gas like that in the Prem, can you? So that'll be something worth checking out too. But yeah, I think it's a bit more guesswork, honestly, from Luckhurst. I think it's just a case of, well, you know, Michael Carrick had to adapt because he didn't have the players. Now he's going to get some players. This was his stats at Middlesbrough. This is how he likes to play. What's that like on a bigger scale? PSG. Let's go PSG. You know, because everyone want to replicate that. Everyone want to replicate that. Yeah. Exactly. So, it also is why it just puts extra pressure on Carrick this season because when there's a shitty performance, you go some PSG midfield you've got going on there. You know what I mean? It's gonna. You know that's gonna come up when Ugarte, you know what I mean, misplaces a pass if he doesn't leave. Well, look at that PSG. We've got the old PSG midfield, haven't we? You know the PSG midfield they didn't want. You know, so maybe that'll be something to look out for. Terence with the first super chat says, put the kettles on because we need to try and stay awake for these World Cup games. England games are at 10 p.m. here. I have to wake up early for work. Yeah, it is.
It's not the what I mean, they could have. I mean, with some of the other kickoff times,
Scotland ones, that is brutal. Their first World Cup game was at 2:00 in the morning. Is it?
Yeah, it's not stupid.
Is it earlier
like
than
that?
that?
Yeah. And I think there's 2, there's 4. I think I saw some at like 5 a.m. I want to say. There's some crazy games. You're gonna be waking up and sort of checking your phone and go, what happened during the night? Who won? Who played? Who?
Yeah, well,
who
yeah.
You know
that's why you got to tune into these kind of shows. You know what I mean? I can't really see. Yeah, but it's like that's 8:00 for us. 3 in the morning, 8.
Tomorrow? 2. Oh shit! It starts tomorrow.
Yeah. 2:00.
What time's that?
8:00.
What time does it start tomorrow?
Tomorrow's 8:00.
That's all right. I'll watch that. You always got to watch the opener, innit? See what's going on.
But I mean, what kind of madman is staying up to 3:00 in the morning to watch South Korea versus Czechia? I tell you what, I love it. I love it.
This is wrestling schedule, mate.
Yeah,
it's nothing to you.
I can't even do the wrestling schedule anymore, man. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Getting old.
I can't
do it. You can.
I can't, mate. I just can't. I can't stay up that late. I can't. So those times are going to be a bit crazy, and also the pitches and everything else. It's just we're getting that World Cup week. You know, just controversy and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? JDK has been a member for 45 months. Says looking like if we pay West Ham. What West Ham wants, then Fernandes might be the number 1 midfield target. Great interview with Matisse Flex. Let's go Knicks. Did they win the other night, the Knicks? I know they're leading.
No, they didn't. They're 2-0 up, and then they won the first 2 games away at Spurs. Yeah. And everyone's thinking this could be a sweep here. This could be a 4-0 sweep, because they're getting back to the Garden. So they should win that. And then Wemby said, absolutely not on my watch, mate.
Oh, really?
Dropped like 34, I think it was, off the top of my head. He was a joke. So yeah, hopefully that they need to win the next one. They need to win the next one because it's going to be a series leveler, and then game on. So yeah, they need that.
Yeah, exactly. And Show also says, shout out Matisse for the boob surgery. No more City Weekly. And I tell you what, I saw that, and fair play, Matisse, man, because you get the people that will try and take the mick. Oh, he just went for a boob job and all that kind of thing, where it is a genuine medical thing. There is nothing that, because people go, oh, just lose weight. There is nothing you can do to get rid of that.
It's excess tissue.
It's excess fatty tissue. There's nothing you can do. And he got it fixed, you know, and also didn't shy away from it. You don't need to make a video to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, it's helping other people.
Matisse does that really well. Yeah, but because there's a lot of things where we all have maybe insecurities. Like it could be your hair or your hairline's going, or it could be, I don't know, you might have bad skin, or it could be your weight. It could be anything. It could be you don't like your nose. It could be all these imperfections that are a birthmark. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. All these imperfections that exist, right, that make us who we are, because perfect doesn't exist. And I think it's really powerful when you see people away from the banter and stuff like that, but see people embrace, it could be teeth, to embrace their imperfections, or what are called imperfections, because to other people it could be completely fine that you look like that, and embrace it and show that, like, listen, I'm not necessarily comfortable with where I'm at, but actually I'm going to show you the stages of getting to somewhere else. Matisse is like that with his eyesight too. He makes it very, very clear. He has, I can't remember I don't want to get it wrong, but he like check into Matisse, he'll let you know. But he has an eye condition that he's getting sorted or got sorted at different times, and makes it very difficult. So he doesn't. I think it's very, very powerful. It's something to me admired, seeing people. Do you know what I mean? Like not care about
definitely
things like that. It's
definitely,
good.
And with that one with Matisse, like, with the gyno stuff, like as he says at the start of the video, it affects way more men than people realize, because people don't really want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone's had that. Well, a lot of people have had that scenario. When they're getting changed in PE when they're a kid or whatever. And they're like, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So, big up to Matisse, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Matheus Fernandes? Should we talk about him, or do you want to go to Roy Keane and Bruno? What do you want to go to next?
I feel like we should have a vote, not
what
like
the chat
by a
one?
poll. Just
what
1 and 2. Just one for Fernandes, 2 for Keane. What do you not want?
Because I know that the Keane stuff is, it's kind of eye rolling,
it's been and gone, and
a bit divisive. But it's a bit of a resolution to the story, which is quite nice. You know what I mean? It's not more of the same
2-2
kind
1,
of stuff.
1-2.
That's true. The Rock did have that. He had the same surgery, by the way.
Did he? Did the Rock have it?
Rock had the same surgery in late 98 into 99. So when you see The Rock wearing wrestling like Mankind at the Royal Rumble in 99, and he's wearing the black tracksuit, that's because he's got bandages here because he had the same surgery.
That. Yeah, see, there you go. Well, if it's good enough for Dwayne Johnson, it's good enough for Matisse.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's very mixed.
It's really mixed. Well, let's do the Keane stuff really quickly, because that can be done. That can be done quite quickly. So Roy Keane has revealed he has spoken to Bruno Fernandes. The issue appears to be resolved. So Roy Keane on the overlap said that he spoke about Bruno spoke about wanting to speak to him on the phone, and Keane said he called him. He said there was a reaction to what we said after the podcast a few weeks ago, and he reached out to me. He wanted to chat, and you know what I did? I called him, and we did a lovely chat. It was a nice chat. Lovely chat a bit of everything, really. But it was nice because, again, when we do podcasts or games, sometimes you think you say something, afterwards you're trying to communicate something, it doesn't come across properly, and people get upset. And he wanted to speak to me, and we had a nice, mature conversation. It was lovely, a lovely chat. I think it was important that I spoke to him because there's been a lot going on and lots reported, and he's obviously a big player for United. I'm an ex-United player, and I think the idea of this communication and have a kind of proper conversation, I really enjoyed it, and hopefully I think he did. A nice chat about a bit of everything. Yeah, I felt better afterwards, is what he said. He jokingly said, "Oh, I forgave him. He apologized." I mean, he didn't go. Funny. He didn't go all the way and say, "I'm sorry for misquoting Bruno." He didn't go all the way with that, which is a bit.
That's a Roy Keaneism. He's not gonna do that. I think we've got to read between the lines on this one.
But
I think that
resolved.
It's resolved. I think reading that as well, it's better to watch the clip as well, because when you read that, it's very. You're just reading. You get a feel for it. When and Ian Wright's trying to chime in, because but Roy, did you feel better afterwards? Did you feel good? Did he cleared the air? And he's like, well, because that's a bit of a push. I wouldn't say that, but it's a really nice chat. Good chat. But you got to read between the lines. When he's like, when you think you've said something, but it's come across that's him trying to allude to the fact that he fucked up. Like that's it. But we're not going to expect Roy Keane to be doing up real apology tours. As much as it would be nice just to go, yeah, I fucked that up. I said to him, I apologize for the misquoting, and we had a good chat. Even if he said the word apologize. But I think from a Roy Keane perspective, that's the best you're going to get. There's no need to keep talking about it. And also within that, what Bruno's on as well. The fact that they've had a conversation for quite a while and he said they spoke about where he plays, his position, his leadership. I'm an ex-United player, and they spoke about a lot. You'd like to think there was some gems in there as well that were exchanged from one of the GOATs in Roy Keane. So I think that chat would have been exactly what Roy said it was, though, in terms of mature and good chat. Things were said, clear the air. Bruno's not afraid to speak his mind. Obviously, Roy Keane is not. So the fact that they've actually spoken, good. But Roy still, he knows he's not saying sorry publicly to us, is he? Because it wasn't that he just said the wrong thing and it got misconstrued. Like he just
I like I said, it is it's as far as the resolution will go, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
with Roy Keane, so you do have to take it for what it is. There are aspects of it that are still disappointing to me. I think, you know, you go to the social media post with the donkey thing. I would have liked to hear him go, yeah, I probably shouldn't have posted that. I apologize for that. Because, you know,
but he probably did say that to Bruno.
Hopefully. But then
You'd like
again,
to think,
that would be good to be clarified. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to say it privately. When you do go publicly, Roy Keane's weight, his voice carries a lot of distance, doesn't it? So maybe, you know, that it would have been good to say, yeah, I took it a little bit too far with the donkey thing, and with the quote that I got angry at, kind of thing. I thought he said that. It turns out he didn't. That's on me. Apologies for that kind of thing. Something like that, because not because you want to see Roy Keane cower down and be like, get on your knees and grovel, just because I think that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? We should be in this day and age of misinformation. When you do get things wrong because of incorrect quotes or wording, we do it. You know what I mean? When we see stuff online, go, they said this, or, you know, like KG, we've seen KG, don't we? Oh, I saw this. You go, that wasn't actually that. And you go, oh, yeah, sorry for that. So would have liked to have seen that, but like you say in the clip, it's put to bed. It's not really worth, I don't think, hassling Roy Keane anything more, being like, you know, you didn't apologize. It's not over, Roy. It's over now. And I think Bruno, coming out of all of it, handled it really, really well.
He did.
Really, he's played a blinder there, and also how well he has handled it, I think, has led to this resolution where, and this is, to be honest, this is so rare nowadays that you know, people actually talked it out and found a resolution, and it's put to bed. Like I said, I don't think it needed the social post, and would have liked to have said a bit of apology for that, but. Hey, in today's day and age, you can have that, or you can have, like, you know, Jamie Carragher and Rio Ferdinand, where that will just go on forever and they'll just keep taking shots at each other. However, it will be really interesting to see next time Keane is on television talking about Bruno, particularly when it comes to Manchester United. You know, will that rear its head? Because we've seen we have seen kind of, I say phony, but Roy Keane, I've put this to bed, and then it's clearly not put to bed a couple of months later when he goes in on them again, because Roy Keane is a live wire. So we shall see. We shall see when it comes to that. But let's go to Matheus Fernandes, Flex, shall we? And before we do, we've got 1,000 people watching. Not even at 200 likes, mate.
Guys, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. 400 likes.
Yeah,
minimum.
We can go higher. We can go higher. So if you haven't already, click that like button. Indeed, Matheus Fernandes. You spoke to Nicky Hawkins for West Ham Fan TV at London Stadium.
I spoke to Nicky Hawkins.
The other day, Nicky Hawkins at London Stadium, West Ham Fan TV. I could not stop saying that, watching that video as well. You know what I mean? Oh, he's the crown jewel. He's the crown jewel.
Sure he's got also Nicky. Just quickly, Nicky's got a new channel as well called Local Nicky. It's really good. Yeah. It's really, really good. He's doing some stuff with Midnight, and he's going around different places, talking to different fans. He's doing some good stuff, man. So make sure you guys check it out. We'll drop the link in the video description. Yeah. It's called Local Nicky Midnight.
I saw that because for those that, you know, maybe you might not know because you're not a West Ham fan, you might see him occasionally on DR. He is such a character. He's got so many amazing stories, Nicky. Like, literally, he has lived a life. You know what I mean? And he's such a nice guy whenever I've met him. So go check that out. But when it comes to Matheus Fernandes, kind of carrying on what was been put out there by Sully and The Athletic over the last few days, but Sky sort of joined the party yesterday. Daniel Kahn was saying it from Sky Sports News that Manchester United are exploring, Nick Flex, a potential move for West Ham midfielder Matheus Fernandes. The value appears to once again coming out of the club. Now Sky are saying it. West Ham value Fernandes at around £80 million. The other day that was £85 million. They're in no rush to sell the player, which you go, sure. United are continuing to do the background work on Fernandes as he's seen as a realistic deal after the Hammers relegation, with the midfield remaining a priority for the club to strengthen this window. So once again, from West Ham Flex, it's 80 million. That's the price. Yeah. That's what Nicky Hawkins from outside London West Ham Fan TV was saying to you the other day. That's the price is the price. Price is the price. And, you know, he's saying that the reason it's that price is because they need it. And if they don't, they might end up getting fines, deducted points, and what have you. But there's also, you know, Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic and others said, but the expectation is the price will come down over time because despite what West Ham say, like Nicky said, they need the money. So eventually we'll come to the point where they need it. They're trying to get a bit of a bidding war going. It must also be stressed like West Ham right now is on fire, like in a bad way, in absolute chaos. So I'm sure like even transfers aren't even their top priority right now. My goodness me.
They
So
ain't even got decision makers in there yet.
No. And also with like the things that were coming out last night with like, you know,
Sullivan.
With Sullivan, he wasn't allowed near like the kids teams and the women's teams. And that's been the case since 2023. And the reason that was because of an FA ban that maybe the Premier League didn't know about as well. It's an insane situation with what's going on there. And that's the owner of a football club. Like,
it's mental.
How?
Program on Panorama last night.
It was on Panorama, yeah. And if you do watch that, you know, viewer discretion advised. It's a tough watch. But yeah, so that's all going on there at the moment. So from their perspective, it might not be their priority, but there are also, I suppose, be people there doing their job. So Man United will keep going on as business as usual. It does feel like, I mean, that there has been this conversation about this 80 million thing. And obviously, I know you spoke to Nicky about it, but there's a wider conversation at the moment of, is this just like the market right now? Because some of the prices being thrown around, not just for Mateus Fernandes, but Alex Scott, they're coming out like Bournemouth wanted 80 million quid for him. Obviously, we see the Real Madrid offer to Atletico Madrid of the 150 million euro for Julian Alvarez and what happened with that. So is it a case of West Ham putting a super high valuation on him that's unrealistic? Or is it also the fact that, yes, it's really unrealistic, but also the market's just out of control with some of these valuations? Like, what is the truth there? Is it a bit of both, do you think?
Yeah, I do think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's the current valuation for him is that. I do believe it is that. And obviously, you have to look at the current willingness to buy him at that price. Doesn't exist, essentially. So I think teams can put whatever price tag they want to on their players. I think we always forget that. We always say it's a disgrace and what's going on, and you stupid idiots if you think this. It's everybody's right to put the price on the player, just like it's everybody's right if you're buying players to not pay certain prices. Like, you don't have to pay it. So I think what will happen is that's why this isn't going to get done quickly. This isn't one that's going to be really quick. I think this is going to rumble on. West Ham are trying to get as much as they can for this player. They're also looking at it like everybody else is. Let's not act like it's only West Ham. The midfield market is insane. It's just like the striker market last year when we were talking about big numbers and who's leaving and this, that, and the other. It seems like it's a central midfielders market this year. You know, you got Elliot Anderson, big money. Carlos Baleba still going to be big money. Tonali, big money. Wharton, big money. Fernandes, big money. And then people are sort of chucking their hats in the ring to say, I'll tell you what, well, if you want ours, well, this is it's just a midfielder market craziness. Let's just put the price high and see what happens. So I think once certain dominoes start to fall, someone gets something agreed. And then you go from there. But we won't be paying 85 million pounds for Mateus Fernandes. We just won't.
Yeah.
We just won't.
No,
if they want us to, then we're going to have to walk away. Like, he's not worth that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't think we'll end up paying that. I mean, the thing about, you know, we're not in any rush to sell. That the reason I scoffed at that, because clearly they are.
You are.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you are. So don't try to say that. Maybe they're trying to suggest, we don't need to sell him tomorrow kind of thing. But again, we know you need to sell him. We know you need the money. Everyone knows it. Right? So let's not play that. I think it's quite clear they're trying their very best to get a bidding war going, aren't they? They're trying to, I think George Mendes is trying to go to PSG, trying to go to Arsenal, going like, can you get involved? Because the more clubs involved, the higher that price can go. And then everyone involved in that deal, apart from the buyer, succeeds. But that's why Man United are trying to talk to him and say, you've got to give us priority. You only want Man United, because it just kills any form of a bidding war, doesn't it? And that's what happened last year with Mbumo and Šeško and what have you. The moment the player goes, make the deal for Man United, nobody else, then they genuinely have to sit down and like, all right, let's hammer out a fee then. Let's get, let's stop escalating and all that. So I'm with you. I don't think they'll pay 85 million, but we are into that stage already, which is really interesting, of the market, which we saw last year, to your point, which is the comparisons start, don't they? if Gittins is worth this, then this player must be worth this. If this player's going to go, if Nonny Madueke is going to go for 50 odd million, then bloody hell, that player's way better. So he should go for 100 million. You know, that will start happening. And I think there's a bit of caution to be like, let's wait for one midfielder to move in the market first. Let's see where the real value is. Because the moment that happens, if someone goes for like 60 million, then West Ham can look at
a new benchmark.
Fernandes better than him. You can go for 70. You can go for 70.
And then it works back in the other way of like what we do is go, oh, I've seen some people do it, which I get, but also we've got to be careful because it's not always as parallel. It's like people putting up the thing of, oh, Southampton said they wanted 100 million for Tyler Diblin, then putting up, they sold him for 40. But the difference is the role that the players played as well. Like Tyler Diblin, who had a couple of cameo performances last year, the year before last year, where you looked at him at Southampton when they got relegated and said, that kid's got something, he looks really good. That's different to how Matheus Fernandes has been. Actually, he played with Tyler Diblin. There you go. That's different to Matheus Fernandes and the impact that he's had in his teams. I know they've both been relegated, but in terms of optically playing every game, you can clearly see he's levels above. He's more ready than Tyler Diblin is to start playing. Do you know what I mean? So you can't. There's two sides to it. There's one side of, see, they said they wanted 100 M's, but they only sold him for 40. But then you go, but Tyler Diblin was not doing what Matheus Fernandes is doing. So West Ham aren't going to be like, all right, we'll just accept 40. And they bought him for 40. Do you know what I mean? But the principle of asking for this and receiving this, I think, is what people are saying. And that's what I think will happen. Because it's all good. You know, people could say, like, Nicky Hawkins, West Ham Fan TV outside London Stadium was saying to me, you know, everyone wants this guy, this, that, and the other. But that's fine that PSG are looking, Arsenal are looking, Man United are looking, Real Madrid, whoever, all the top teams. That's fine. But they ain't going to pay 85 million for him. No one is.
No,
so,
no.
Or you would think that nobody would.
Well, yeah, you're right. It depends. It depends. It's a bit like the Elliot Anderson thing, isn't it? And there were reports coming out yesterday saying that, you know, City were preparing another bid for him and what have you. I was saying this the other day that, you know, if we were in that position where, you know, all of our team was nearly there, our squad was nearly there, we just need to sprinkle something a little bit extra, then you can go, right, just go pay 120 million, get Elliot Anderson in, because we don't need anyone else. We're not there this season, are we? We need like 6 or 7 signings. David Ornstein said the other day, didn't he, on the I think it was the Athletic, one of their podcasts or something like that, that he expects Man United to probably be the most busy team this summer because of the volume of players we need to bring in. So this is why when we're having these conversations about Matheus Fernandes or Elliot Anderson, that, you know, 80 million, 100 million pound mark, one, we just haven't really gone, you know, that close to 100 that many times in our history. No. And two, we just got too many players we need to bring in. You know, you can't. If we spent 85 million on Matheus Fernandes and that left us a midfielder short, we'd be talking about that all season, wouldn't we? Going,
100%.
We're still
It'd
short
be bad
in
planning.
Midfield.
It'd be shocking planning.
And it would reflect, and it'd end up hitting him, wouldn't it? Go, oh, we spent this amount on him.
Well, you go back to when we was discussing what marquee is and what marquee isn't. Well, 85 million is marquee. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
85 million is fucking marquee. I don't care how young the player is. I don't care how harsh it is that they're this, that, and the other. You spend 80 million on anybody, there's massive expectation, as there should be. If you cost that, or a club decides to buy you for that, that buying club isn't just buying somebody for the future. You need to be good now. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care how young you are. So you're right. It could really impact him. You know, what was Anthony 80 million? It was, wasn't it? He was.
Anthony,
was it like 70?
Well,
in the end, we didn't actually pay that, but it was like the 72.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
whatever.
Know.
Do you know what I mean? Because we've been down that route. Everything was Anthony 80 million. Mudryk was 88.
Yeah. God, that is insane, isn't it? You forget about him, don't you?
Stranger things happen.
How much was it? I'm just seeing at Real Betis transfer fee from Ajax.
Yeah.
It says 82 million pounds, which is 95 million euros.
What? That's all add-ons that maybe didn't.
What's the United will pay. Well, I tell you what, Flex. I tell you what, Flex.
76 up front and shit. What is it?
This is from the 30th of August, 2022. United will pay a guaranteed. So we're paying this guaranteed £80.75 million, with another £4.25 million in add-ons. That was all the add-ons.
So maybe the add-ons is the one we didn't get. The 84 million.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And do you know what?
Do
you know what as well, Owen?
Oh, we saved £4 million. Holy
But we have to pay. Owen, do you know what though? It was Edwin van der Sar who done us, isn't it? Remember, he was negotiating, wasn't he, at the time?
Yeah. Do you know what? I remember, and this is when you got to be so careful with transfers and getting giddy, because I remember we did a full view with the We Talk Ajax guys at the time. I remember all three of them, I think I've been below us, and I remember all three of them were like, I can't believe you spent that amount of money for Anthony, but he gives a fuck. And he was like, they were like, no, seriously, like he's good, but he's not 100. He's not that. He's not. I'm like, scores first goal against Arsenal. KG says we didn't spend enough. Oh God.
Yeah, Ajax told us point blank exactly.
Yeah, they told us. Like, they told us there and then. Like, it's not worth that. He's worth like 40 million.
I mean, this is different because Nicky Hawkins for West Ham Fan TV outside of London Stadium is saying he is worth that. They're not downplaying how good the guy is, which you know, and we've seen him in the Prem. So this is different because they are saying that he's.
I want to say Nicky. Even with Onana, they were still a bit like, well.
Yeah, Leacher, they were like, he's good.
Yeah, good.
We fucking raided them. Well, we got Ajax, we got him from Inter, didn't we? To be fair, Onana. But my God.
Someone did point out, I don't know if this is exactly the same because Matheus Fernandes has a lot of time left on his contract at West Ham. But West Ham at one point were driving a really high price for Mohamed Kudus, and he didn't end up going for anywhere near that price as well. At one point, he was like, if you're going to get him, you got to get him for 80 million. How much did Spurs spend for him?
He went for like half. I want to say 60.
Kudus transfer.
Sure, it was 60 odd. 62.
£55 million. You know, for which going down from 1 point. Oh, there you go. This was Tottenham have agreed £55 million. West Ham. He had an £85 million release clause, but they ended up only paying £55 million.
Oh, that was a release clause as well. That's mental.
No?
Yeah.
So they can come down. Yeah, they can come down. That was when they were in the Prem, let alone in the Championship. So something else to look at. But also as well, someone put down in the chat, the complicating part of it is obviously the Southampton sell-on fee, and that any of the profit they have to make, was it 15%? They have to give to Southampton. So if they're selling Matheus Fernandes, thinking, right, this is going to get us out of trouble for fines and or what have you, points deductions, they then have to add on to the fact of going, well, we're going to have to give 15% of the profit away to Southampton, and that could be the difference, between getting over the line or not when it comes to those financial problems. But it's not as if they aren't only selling Matheus Fernandes this summer as well. They're going to, I think they said they had to raise like £150 million. They're going to sell other players, aren't they? They got players they can fundraise with in that team. Not a lot, but they got a couple that will move to Prem clubs, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because when you look at their team, you've got Wan-Bissaka in there. You've got, Mavropanos, who played really well. You've got Somerville. You've got Bowen. Someone like Souček, Mr. West Ham, he'd probably just stay there and do all right.
Do you think Jared Bowen would stay? I mean, he's Mr. West Ham.
Yeah, no, I think he's got to go. Like, I know there's pressures, obviously, from Danny Dyer Jr.'s dad.
Family, isn't it? So maybe you're like scored the European goal that won that trophy.
But then it's like, if you think of Danny Dyer Senior, of like fucking geezer, proper all this, it's like, mate, my daughter and my grandkids need paying for. Yeah, go and get the money. Yeah, go and get as much money as you can, because I tell you what, that mansion we've got, she ain't moving out of it because you're on less wages.
Go get the money. Go get the money.
Yeah, and Duff as well. Exactly, he's another one. Yeah, so you go and get the money. Listen, I know, and he's probably saying to his daughter, I know, Danny, I know you don't want to move up north. I know you want to stay here, but listen, you need that dough. We need that dough. If you don't want to move ass.
You don't want to move ass, Jared, don't be a slag. All right? Don't be a total slag.
I'd love to be in that family meeting of Jared basically. And it is quite weird because we're basically saying that Jared has no say. But I feel like there's a meeting with his in-laws where they sit down and they tell him what's going to happen.
What he's going to do.
Right, Jared, I've had a think. Here's what you're going to do, right? You wait to see who comes in, right? You see who comes in, right? Now, if they pay you anything near 100 nicker, anything near 100 nicker a week, 100 nicker a week, mate. I've told Danny, you've got to accept. That heated swimming pool out there, it needs paying for.
So Danny Dye's his agent. We're now moving to
that.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that. I'm saying that. I don't think Jared's got to say. You know what I'm saying? But where everyone thinks everyone's going to make the family make him stay because it's Mr. West Ham and that, I actually think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think Danny Dye is about his money. And I think he's going to be like, listen, like I said, look after my granddaughter. They've got twins, I believe. Look after my grandkids. Look after my daughter. And to do that, you're nearly 30 now. I think he is. How old is he? Is he like 28, 29, Jared Bone? Something like that.
He's been around for ages, hasn't he?
He has been around for ages, so he must be pushing 30.
Yeah, 29. He's 30 in
29. Last big contract, bro. He can't be playing in the championship. No chance. He's got to move.
For a year.
No. He's got to move. He's got to move.
That's part of the West Ham journey, isn't it? You know, every sort of decade you get relegated.
I know.
Do a season in the championship and come
back.
It
is, isn't it? Yeah, Nicky. I said, Nicky, gonna be right in the championship? He goes, yeah, be fine. Get 100 points. Get 100 points.
That's what he said at the end of it. What is he? He was going, Centurions, mate. Centurions. Yeah.
But actually, it's weird because they're like quite happy that they're getting cleansed. Like they're just ripping out. So they're like, you know what, championship, we need it. Let's just reset. Obviously, we know what's going on at board level. It's a total mess. They actually need this. But they need to recruit well or keep hold of quite a few players.
But that was also interesting what he was saying at the end of the video when he was saying that nobody really knows how West Ham are going to act because there are going to be new chair people in the club. They don't know if they're going to drive a really hard price of 80 million, or they might just completely collapse and be like, "Look, we need the money. It's fine." No one. It's difficult to predict what West Ham are going to do because there's different people now running it, sort of thing. So they might, even as the scandal develops, they might just be like, "Oh, we just need to carry on, get things done. This place on fire at the moment," or they might be like, look, new era, we're making a statement. It is 80 million or nothing. We can't be seen to be carrying down at this period of time because we need to show a sign of strength of the club. So that's another thing to consider. But from Man United's perspective, we're just kind of like, wow, it's not our issue. We've got other things we need to fix. We've got sort out our midfield. So let's do the Mateus Fernandes deal, please. So I think we get him. It sounds like it. The only thing that is scaring me is I'm just in the back of my mind. I'm just worried that another team's just going to go, here's 80 million. And we're going to like, oh, shit. But I think maybe that's why you just make sure you really work with the player side of thing if you're United first and be like, you're definitely coming to United, right? Definitely. Because then we can work on that price. I think that's the next step. We're waiting for that David Ornstein. He has given full priority to Manchester United.
That's what we need to hear.
All of the clubs are out of the race.
It will calm us down a little bit.
Because Lil Yo says no one will pay 80 million. I know Chelsea finished 10th, but would you be shocked if he just randomly?
Enzo Fernandez leaves to go Real Madrid or City or some shit like that.
Would you even if he doesn't? They just sometimes do that. They just sometimes just go here's 75 million pounds, and then next thing you know,
they do. It is interesting on the take about outside. Not that everyone cares, but I was talking to Dan Bardell yesterday on our show that we do, and he's just like, Mateus Fernandes is like, nah, he's worth 40, mate. You shouldn't be paying. He's saying the prices are just mad, and he's good, but he's not. You shouldn't be paying big for him. And then I was like, even Belabor, I don't mind him. He's like, nah, he's had a season off. He can't. It's funny seeing other people's outside of ours. It's like, nah, you can't get him.
What do you make of the Belabor thing of him telling you some of it? Was he talking to some of the United players about him going to Man United?
I'll tell you, man, I've been saying it for a while, man. My thing on the Belabor is I'm not against it. The price needs to reflect what they tried to do to us last year versus now. That needs to be reflecting of that. But I really do believe that Belabor is a skill set that we need. Again, another important ingredient to bake in this cake. Not the single ingredient, not the final ingredient, not the only ingredient, but just one of many ingredients to get the cake where we want it. If we can get, someone said there, a show said Belabor for 40 million would be a steal. That would never happen. Brighton are not going to do that. But maybe Belabor might be 50. You know what I mean? I would pay that. I would pay that for Carlos Belabor. I would, or 55 plus add-ons. I honestly do think we're sleeping on him because he had a little bit of an indifferent season last year compared to the season before, and that's put a lot of people off. But I still believe he's a really good player. But unfortunately, though, I think it's going to be reflected in what Brighton do, because they're still not going to, you know what Brighton are on. So they're probably still going to charge 80 for him as well. So this is, I don't know how this works. Yeah, Van Heck, fucking hell, they've rejected 2 bids for him.
Yeah,
He's only got 1 year left as well.
Yeah, they want something like 70 million. They want like 70 odd million.
And he's good. I like Van Heck. He is good, actually.
And, and that's also as well, that is it's interesting from De Zerbi, isn't it? It's going right, because their whole thing with Spurs under Ange was like this: the 2 centre backs, it's Van der Ven, it's Romero. That's the high line for life, mate. And it's interesting that De Zerbi's coming in, going, look, they're fucking injured all the time. Romero's a loose cannon. I'm getting, was it Senesi, and I'm going to get Van Hecker. You know, we're replacing that at that back too. But it does show Brighton's mindset, doesn't it? Of no, even if it's a year left, we want like 70 million for an okay centre back. You know what I mean? Premier League centre back from it's crazy, but it just goes to show that's who Brighton are. That's what they do. They get their money, they get their price, and they're asking for 70 odd million for Van Hecker. They've probably already got his replacement line. He might even be under contract right now. We just don't know about it at this point. That's how efficiently they are run, isn't it? So, yeah, but that's just the market. But I would say that's the market now. Interesting to see how that changes in maybe a month's time as we get closer to the deadline, as we get closer to the season. Maybe after the World Cup, once everyone starts getting their, you know, big boy pants on and goes, right, okay, we've got to actually figure out selling and buying players now. So maybe it's just because, look, it's not opened yet, and we still got a bit of time, still got time to the end of the month as well for the financials and what have you. So this is still very early days, I think. These prices, you would hope, would come down in the next few weeks, but who knows, mate?
Yeah, we shall wait. We shall wait and find out. Big up to yourselves. Big up to everyone. The World Cup starts tomorrow. You know what I mean? The World Cup starts tomorrow. But transfers are still very much going on here. We will be across everything. I know everyone's going to be busy with the World Cup, or maybe not, because the times are a little bit mad. So maybe you guys actually. I've a couple of my friends been messaging me saying I ain't watching it until the knockouts. Like there's a lot of different opinions. So listen, what you do need to know is that we will be right across everything.
You tune in for a bit of a transfer view / World Cup breakfast. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Exactly. A little bit
what
of everything.
Last night.
So,
yeah,
exactly. What happened the night before. So big up to each and every single one of you, man. Make sure you guys smash a like on the way out. Go on. Because it's this new format. I've popped that chat. I can't see.
Yeah. I'll read them. Daniel Luciano has been a member for 40 months. Says the refs were calling nothing for the Knicks. It was a disgrace. It is a disgrace.
Wemby was flipping a GBH. Sorry.
Big up, boys, and big up the Knicks. Wow, the Danhausen curse maybe is the uncurse is rubbing off. Ray Carl Brown says, I had male breast reduction surgery when I was 18. Best thing ever. Big up to the guy. There you go. Big up, Ray.
Nice. Well done, Ray.
And Zuta says, Daddy Fleck, I missed you. Did you all miss me?
Is there any more for any more?
Yeah, we've got a super chat from Lewis Hall. The player. The player, it's official, so you know it's real. It says, so being on United gets you to the World Cup, eh? Be right back. Going to talk to my agent. Good. There was in the Athletic yesterday. Interesting, they were sort of saying that Newcastle don't want to sell, but Man United feel a offer of 50 million could get people to talk. And I looked at that and went, that's put it down. You know, that's good price. Bro. 50 million for Lewis Hall.
I know we got to get midfielders. We absolutely do, but left back can't be ignored, bro. We're in trouble because Luke Shaw can't play all them games, and we need to improve like drastically. Like,
and Patrick Dorgan's a winger for me. I'm not having
he is.
I use a winger. Even if the club thinks, brilliant, wasn't it? Brilliant. Yeah. But he's scoring all types of goals as well. It's not just the worldies, it's the headers.
It's so everything. Weird, Patrick Dorgan, because I still don't know what his best position is. Like, I'm still working out. Like, it is obviously a winger, but it's like he's weird where like other facets of the game might not be as acute, but as an athlete, he's so powerful and fast.
Yeah. He's rough around the edges
as well.
He's rough around the edge, but I think he's only 21. We're talking about Mateus Fernandes. Patrick Dorgan's same age. You know what I mean? Like that's not bad. That's not bad. And finally, Chiak says the window where Dibbling was 100, nobody bought him. So maybe a suggestion is if you're going to drive that hard price, you're not going to be able to sell the player.
Exactly. There you go. All right, guys. Well, Owen, you're on the buttons. Big up to yourselves, man. We will see you very, very soon. We are out of here. Take care. Peace.